Hey everyone, welcome back inside the Verge Studios. I completely forgot what we were talking about. What are we talking about today?
It's part two because we didn't finish.
That's right.
We try to keep these things at like 15, 20 minutes so we don't, so you guys can hit it on the way to work or whatever in a lunch break. So, and we went pretty long on the deep dive into a couple of promotions.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We thought, let's just do some more. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, so what's up next?
Well, we finished with
ceremonial.
Honorary puck drop.
Honorary puck drop.
Ceremonial
ceremonial event, pregame event.
Yes.
So let's go into a game
Okay.
and pick a on-field promo, on ice promo, whatever. Pick one and let's deep dive how to. Let's do on-field because on ice things are a little bit. Usually that's during, of course, the intermissions. So let's do on-field promo, on-court promo, but baseball. We'll pick baseball again.
Right on.
Do you have one?
I've never done a promo.
How about Blues Brothers circa Dizzy Bat? Let's do
Dizzy Bat.
Bat. It's a classic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, everyone does it.
It's funny thing is that a classic, but I used it last time. People mail it in because it's a classic.
Right.
Oh, this is so easy to do. Well, you're right. It is easy to do, but it's a little bit more difficult to do it well.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do a Dizzy Bat race the correct way where it has high effect. Okay. So where do we start?
The intro graphic.
Okay.
You got to have an intro graphic on the
Prior to
video
that,
board.
how
Well,
do we start?
we're coming out of the inning, so.
Prior to that,
Casting.
there you go.
I see.
Casting.
Oh, trick question.
Got him.
Yes. Of course.
Casting. Who are we
of course.
casting for this? It's a Dizzy Bat race. Who are we casting?
I personally am going to cast, some buddies, some drunk guys probably.
Okay. People that they know each other so they can battle it out
Yeah.
on the field.
Gives
That's
them that
good.
competitive energy.
Okay.
Probably mid-20s, late, mid-late.
Why'd you say drunk?
I want him to get a little more dizzy.
Yep. And
Maybe a barf too. That would help.
Yeah.
that would actually
That would help.
Yeah.
and we're kind of saying why drunk, but it's because, and why not a kid? Because kids stand up, kids can twirl all day and they don't get dizzy. So
They don't
you
get
have to
dizzy.
find somebody with a little bit of a challenge walking first of all, and then you make them dizzy, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you can always kind of spot the perfect contestant, the perfect talent. They just have that look, like the buddies.
What, the beer in their hand?
Yeah.
That look.
And we, of course, talked about this in another episode, but we used the word cast.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
Well,
they're
it's a
part
show.
of the show.
And because we want to manage the show.
Yeah.
We don't want to just grab anybody and let them run the show. It's not their show, it's our show. So we're casting the right players for any event that we're doing.
Yeah,
right?
they're acting in our show.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're going to cast them, and then we're going to coach them up too.
That's part two.
Tell them the reaction that we want.
Obviously, a lot of people know the Dizzy Bat race, but those two contestants might have never been to a baseball game before. What do I got to do? All right, you're going to be standing here. You're going to go from here to here, whatever. You're going to twirl 10 times. You got to teach that person. How do you do it? Do you put the bat? So some people bat and they spin the wrong way and the bat's swinging.
Yeah.
Like you literally have to teach them how to do it and teach them where their placements are because they can't do it on their field. So you kind of have to subtly walk them through it wherever the staging area is.
Right.
For these cast members and maybe even plan a unique ending
Yeah.
or something. Or if it's two drunk buddies, you can almost let them take care of it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It's spontaneous.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, maybe if it's a husband and wife and they're both maybe a little inebriated, you might say to the husband, you're winning until the very last second, then you trip,
Right.
okay, or something to get the crowd reaction.
Right. Set it up.
Set a little bit of a setup, right?
Yeah.
I think it's those are both the options are on the table. If we can't find an intoxicated or mildly intoxicated, buzzed individual or group of individuals to do this, then we're going to go to the setup model. And these are the contestants we're looking for, and this is what we're going to coach them up to do. I've seen so many elements just fall completely flat because a promo team member didn't come over to them or a producer didn't come over to them and tell them what they were doing or how to do what they were doing at the most basic level. And so you get out there, the contestants don't even know what they're doing, and it just looks stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
They either don't know what they're doing, and you just continue on with the element, which I see all the time, or you see the promo team down there on the field when it's time for the element to be happening, and they're teaching them on the field in front of all your fans.
Coach ahead of time, set it up if you need to.
Right. And I'm going to even go back further. We're planning the show. We're scripting the show.
Right.
And we're using a script that's advanced. And I don't know if we had a scripting podcast yet, but the script has to be so well written with all these little details in it that if Scott's going to a bar instead of doing the show, and we need somebody else to produce the show, that person can read that script line by line and know exactly where to go, where the staging is, what the props and supplies are, what type of talent it is, how to coach the talent, who's the person that's what promo team person is the talent coach, right? Not just like a random thing where, and then everyone's pointing at each other. I thought he was supposed to do it. I thought she was supposed to do it, right?
Yeah.
Who is doing all these things to get those people ready to go? So now we're getting to the field, I think. We've done all the prep
It's
here,
been one
right?
hell of a dizzy bat challenge.
Oh, it's going to be because we're producing it. But back to your point about the script, like when you're placing the element, in my brain, I'm like, okay, my ideal contestant are two drunk friends. So I'm going to place this element in a time in the script where they have time to get drunk. I want them to be a little drunk, so I'm not going to put it in the first inning.
Yeah, very good point.
Put it towards the end, so that way they have that time to have those drinks. If that's
smart,
if that's the talent that I'm looking for.
And actually, the audience is a little bit more relaxed, and they might have had more drinks by the fifth inning or sixth inning or later in a hockey game to be able to react to something really funny that's happening on the field.
Right.
When I used to do the Blues Brothers, we would ramp up the show. The mid-sixth was one of our top innings because later on there's people already leaving because they want to get home early or whatever. So mid-fifth, mid-sixth, those are our top, hottest, best ones that we do in the course of a baseball game. So we've got all this cool planning. We've got our contestants, our cast members, right? And now staging, props and supplies, where we go from there.
Props and supplies, right?
Okay, so what do we need? Two bats?
Two
couple of
bats.
bats.
What else?
The contestants, the cast
members?
they count as props.
Yeah.
Sponsor placement?
Yep. Sponsor placement if there is one, whether it's, digital or on screen or actual physical, setup.
It could be part of the finish line.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We
finish line.
We need a finish line.
Finish line.
So, and it's just amazing how many people have, or teams have races and they have no finish line. So the audience has no idea the end spot.
Right.
Neither do the contestants. And it kind of just dud. It just
Fizzle.
they just, it's over. Right. And, but we don't, there's not really a race to the end. Right. So we need a finish line. It needs to be big so that people from far away can see the finish line.
Right. Props need to be big so you could, everything is accentuated. You have to because your stage is so huge.
Right.
So, every big bats.
The big plastic bats.
Exactly.
That are different colors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it. So that's props and supplies. We now the host, we go back to what you're saying. Logo intro, right?
Yep.
Logo and then a read.
Yep.
And you were you didn't do the read. You were an on-field host for a while. The PA person did kind of the intro read and sent it to you, right? Is that how it worked at Charleston?
Yeah. So I would always start myself out.
Okay.
We didn't send it down. I would just have my hot mic and
So you would start it.
I would start it. Yeah.
And that's one way of doing it, especially Lindsay is a good on-field host, but a lot of times I like to have the voice from the sky, the guy that does the player intros. Now it's down to Lindsay for the Napa Auto Parts Dizzy Bat race. Lindsay, what's going on? More rapport? Like we don't have much rapport here, but What you want to do is have good rapport between the host and the voice from the sky, right? And then maybe even a little back and forth, like we're doing in our show here, where it's like, hey, what's the weather like up there in the press box? Whatever you're saying,
Right.
Sure.
something silly.
Yeah.
And if it's a theme night, we're bringing the theme into it. Maybe some of the costuming is themed, whatever, for that night, or the theme is referenced as it gets thrown down to the host, so that we're bringing that into the element itself. Then the host, in my world, just like we talked about in one of the last podcasts about making that ceremonial first whatever, they're the star of that show at that moment in time. So are these two contestants. I don't care if they're drunk adults or little kids. I want to know their names. I want to know where they're from. I want to know their favorite sports team. I want to share a little bit, bring them into the show and give them, they call it development of character in sitcoms, right? People they didn't like Kramer right away in Seinfeld, but everyone started liking him because they developed his character. So we only have 30 to 60 seconds, but you can still take 5 seconds to interview each.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
You can even name them something silly. It's Star Wars night, so the little kid Henry is now Jabba the Hutt, or whatever, and you're changing it up. You're making it fun for that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like asking them silly questions too.
Yes.
Like, you can ask them where you from, what's your name, but the silly questions are always good too, especially if they're drunk, because you never know what they're going to say, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
How long have you been married? 25 years.
Right.
Happily?
Exactly,
Oh, you took a pause there.
Exactly.
Right.
You can have all those little one-liners.
Yeah.
And that opens the door to that. If you already know their names and don't give them their 5 seconds, you lose a ton of content and a ton of content.
And that's one of the things that, especially with pitch clocks now and timing clocks in NBA and everywhere else, everyone's worried about getting it in 45 seconds or 67 seconds or whatever it is. You can relax, slow down. I've heard hosts talk way too fast. Just relax, let it go. You don't actually have to talk all the time while the race is going on. Let the action carry it. And I fault myself for that. Sometimes when I'm on mic, I talk too fast, and then it becomes gibberish. So we've started the race. Now where are we at? We're getting into it. We've announced the contestants. How do we finish? Right? Obviously, the action. If we cast it right, the action's awesome. We got a great ending.
Yeah.
Right?
I have something before that. I think that your host needs to explain the name of the game, what's going to happen, how they win, explain the elements.
Great. Very good point.
To the fans. So
Because
that way
again,
they know what's going on.
Half the fans might be brand new. As common as a dizzy bat race is, half of them might have never seen it before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So I always like
The
to
rules of the game.
include that in. Yeah.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could actually be talking to the contestants the cast members while you're doing that. So again, it brings it all together.
And it reminds them one last time exactly what we practiced. This is what we're going to do. This is what we walked through up there. Now you're going to hear it again. Everyone's going to hear it.
And we can't forget the sponsor. Of course, the sponsor's been sent to us, whether you intro it yourself or we bring it down. But it can be said during the game. And it can be said in an irreverent way or reverent.
Right.
Right? It can be like, do you know what this is, Junior? Napa Auto Parts. What did you say? Napa Auto Parts.
Right.
Just a little fun like sponsor placement like that, where you could just kind of add to the sponsor to it. And then, of course, the sponsor's happier.
Right.
The news easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So okay. So that's a great.
So we're into the finish, right?
Well, we're into the finish.
So they're crossing the finish line, obviously, and then I think that instead of just ending the element like so many teams do at that point, the winner's got to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
The host has to acknowledge the winner. If the host is down there with them, if not, the mascot's down there with them at the finish. You gotta get a live shot, high fives,
hugs, and everything. Right?
Acknowledge the camera. Camera focus needs to be on them. And then it's a wave to the camera. Give them their time, and then
they need time as well. And it's also what about prizes? Do you have any prizes?
It's so important.
You need something.
If it's a competitive element, you have to have a good prize.
And
because
it can be a silly prize.
Right.
I like a good silly prize. Again,
a funny prize.
They have to be given something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And again, irreverent. You don't always have to follow rules because we're not we're not doing the Olympics.
Right.
Right.
We don't have to follow the
Right.
Olympic Committee's rules. You can give the biggest prize on halfway to Halloween to the second place finisher, right?
Do
Not the
whatever-
first.
yeah,
Here, first
whatever we
place, you
want.
get a candy. Second place, you get a candy bar or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Because you came in second. Good job.
I love those wrinkles.
I
I
love-
love those wrinkles.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's
The
and that-
fans love it too.
the
They always
fans love
have
it.
such a reaction
Yeah.
when you do
It's a
stuff
little,
like that.
those little things really
Yeah.
make an element pop.
They
So
do,
it's-
and
little change.
we're kind of seeing here because we're having fun talking about it. If the host is having fun, is the promo team is having fun, if the contestants are having fun, if something goes sideways and you guys are all laughing at each other, it's just like when somebody has a break on Saturday Night Live and the audience is laughing and the
Right.
cast is laughing.
You break character. Yeah.
When that happens, the love comes from that on-field and it goes into the crowd and back,
Yeah.
and everyone's enjoying themselves.
Yeah,
And
well
so,
said.
so yeah, that having everybody enjoy the event is a big deal, and
Yeah.
that's part of the finishing
Yes.
touches.
100%.
So
I don't think we can break it down any better than that.
we
I
went
don't
pretty
think-
deep
yeah.
into that. Did we miss anything? Sponsor out. We got to say
Yeah.
that.
You gotta leave
Thank
it
you to
in.
the sponsor.
Yep.
Thank you to the
Gotta hit their
contestants.
PA on the
Send it
way
back
on.
up. The PA goes, "You guys are awesome down there. Thanks to Napa Auto Parts." Blah blah blah. By the way, Napa Auto Parts. If you're listening, you can always click and add some advertise with us because we are pretty dang good. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and does Mark Cuban own Napa Auto Parts? I can't remember.
Probably
I
at
don't know.
this
Yeah. I
point.
think
We'll have to call him and
Yeah.
ask.
Maybe set a reminder.
Well, guys, if we missed anything, let us know. If you want us to talk about anything next time, let us know. As always, it's all about your fans. Until next time, see you guys.